Hi everyone, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to vectorize a piece of clip art so that we can engrave it onto a cutting board. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to Image. I'll select the clip art. I'm going to scale it to fit the canvas. Now before I trace this image, I do want to make some changes to it. So this black line that is going down the stem, I want to remove that. So I'm going to go to Edit Image. Then I'm going to select the Eraser tool. And you can see you have a slider bar here. So if I go over onto the screen, it's quite large at this point. It's set at 40. I'm going to bring that down to about 5. And let's increase the size of this image so we can see what we're doing here. And then I'm just going to click and hold and just slowly move up the stem. And then it looks like I need to decrease the size of the eraser. So I'll just use the minus key and I'll continue that process until I've removed the stem. And there we go. Now I went a little bit far. So if I go to the undo tool, I can just click this away one bit at a time if I want to. So I think that's what I'm going to do at this point. And that looks good. So I'll click on Save. So now that the image has been edited, it's time to trace it. So with it still selected, I'm going to click on Trace Image. And it brings up a new dialog box. So you have fuzziness, denoising, and smoothness. Now you can play around with these slider bars. And for me, and this particular piece of clip art, I'm going to put them all the way to the maximum. I don't need to use the layering by color because it's just going to be the one color. Click on Save, and now we have a vectorized file. So I've separated them. I'm going to click on the original piece of clip art and just delete that because I no longer need it. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now because this was a big piece of clip art, you can see this is in inches, so it's a little over 9 inches by 11 inches, say. But even at that size, this would not really be a good candidate for cutting out all these different veins in the leaves. They're just too small. But it would be a great candidate for an Engrave file, and that's what I'm going to use it for today. Excuse me. So if I click on Engrave, this gives you a visual of what that would look like once it's engraved onto a piece of wood. So let me just reduce the size of this for right now, and then we'll go on to the next part of the design, and that will be adding the text to the board. So I'm going to click on the text tool. Now I've already done a cut and paste of my text, so you don't have to watch me type. So I'm going to just paste that into the text box. And you can see that's quite large. So I'm going to bring the font size down to 36. So we can see the whole statement here, and I think this looks really nice. A fallen leaf is nothing more than a summer's wave goodbye. I thought that was really cute for the fall all the way through, the holidays. Now what I want to do now is change the font. So I'm going to go into typeface, and I'm going to type in the font name, and it's spelled ASYIFA. I do not know how to pronounce that, so that's why I spelled it for you. Now if I look at this font here, I'll put it into Engrave so you can see that a little bit better. It's quite a long string of text. So if I wanted to separate this into 2 lines, I can go up to like where the more and than, that's where I want to split it. So if I put my cursor right before the T and then, hit backspace so that it looks like more than is one word, leave your cursor in between the 2 words, hold down your shift key and hit enter, and that forces it to go into 2 lines. So that's a nice little tip. Rather than have to type 2 different strings of text and line them up, this is a good way to actually split the text. So this part of the cutting board is done. So I've got my vectorized leaf, I've got my text done. Now what I want to do is actually draw a box that represents the size of the cutting board. So I'm going to go up to Insert, go to Rectangle, just randomly draw a rectangle, go up to the sizing, unlock, and I'll be working in inches, and the width of it is 8.7 by 6. Now these are the small cutting boards that I purchased at the Dollar Tree, so $1.25 for a cutting board, and it's made of bamboo. Super cute and a great way to practice. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to click on it again and assign it a different layer color. So that's going to be red. Now it's time to place all these items into that rectangle and get the design for the cutting board. So let me bring this text in. I'll just move it down here. I'll bring the leaf in. Definitely needs to be a lot smaller. So I'll bring that down, maybe a bit smaller. And I think I'll tilt it a little bit. So I think that's looking pretty good. On my font, I might bring that down just a little bit in size. Maybe just like this. Again, just play around with these until visually it's pleasing to you. And that looks really good. Then I think what I'm going to do is a copy paste. So I'm going to do copy, Control C, Control V. Move this up to this corner. Rotate it and make this one a bit smaller. And I think that's looking really good. I think that's going to make a very nice cutting board. So there is the base design for this particular cutting board. So I've turned on my M1, so you might hear a slight little hum here in the background, and that's what that is. And now I'm going to hit refresh. So now we're getting a visual of the laser bed. And I have the honeycomb, which I just really think is a great product. And what I've done is I've taken the actual wooden bamboo board and pushed it all the way to the top of the honeycomb. And as long as your honeycomb is square inside the laser, this will be a really good tool to help you with alignment. So the next thing that I need to do is go ahead and choose my material. So I'm going to select 3mm basswood for this. Then I'm going to click on Auto Measure. And this takes a few seconds. And Auto Measure succeeded. So that's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is select all of the items and place it so that that red rectangle is around the cutting board. So that's looking really good. Maybe just move it up just slightly. Doesn't have to be exact in this particular project, but that's how that works. Okay, so now that we've got all the items in place, we need to assign the parameters so the laser knows what to do. So on the red layer, I've already chosen ignore for this because I don't need the laser or the software to do anything with that, just completely ignore it. Then I'm going to go into the blue layer, and this will be Engrave. So the default settings are power 70, speed 175, 1 pass, and 100 lines per centimeter. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the power to 80, the speed to 150. I'm going to leave it at 1 pass, and then on the lines per centimeter, I'm going to make that 120 because I want it to be just a little bit deeper. So all that looks good. Now you can do a framing if you choose. I've done this project before, so I know that everything is good. I'm going to go to Process. And here we've got the visual. This is exactly what I want. It's just the engrave items. I do not need that rectangle. Now I'm going to click on Start and let the laser do its magic. So now that the cutting board is complete, I'd like to show you how to make an additional accessory using this leaf. So I'm going to click on it, do a control copy, then I'm going to click on plus canvas, control V, and straighten this up a little bit. And I'm going to change the size so that the height is 4 inches. So that's a pretty good size. And you could use this, we're going to make it either, so you can use it as an ornament, or what I would like to use it for is just like a gift tag around the neck of a wine bottle. So let me show you how to do that. So let me go in a little bit closer here. So this file has been set up to engrave, but I need to add an outline to it. So I'm going to click on it, then I'll go to the outline tool. I'm going to uncheck add inner outline for bitmap, and then I'm going to increase the size. So I want this to be a pretty good size here. So that's currently at 0.134. Click on OK. Now with it still selected, right click and change the color to red, because we're going to have a cut file now. Then I'm going to go back up to the circle tools, and we're going to add a loop onto this, or a hoop. So I'm just going to make it a pretty good size. I can change this in just a moment, but I want it to be so that it doesn't, it's going to overlap the red, but not the blue. Okay, so we'll go in here just like that. Then I'm going to go to the outline tool again, and I'm going to increase it, and that looks pretty good. Actually, maybe a bit smaller, just like that. Click OK. Then just select the two circles, go up to combine, subtracted overlap, then click on the red layer, so that will select anything that is red, go up to combine and choose unite. So now you've created a cut file, so the red will be cut and the blue will be engraved. So now let's send this one off to the laser. I'm going to go ahead and do a refresh, and I've secured some basswood onto the honeycomb. So I'm just going to place my image on here. Then I've got 3mm basswood selected. I need to do an auto measure. That was successful. Now I need to set the parameters. So I'll click on the red layer first. I'm going to choose cut, and I'm going to leave it at the defaults, which is power 100, speed of 5, and 1 pass. Then I'm going to click on engrave, and I'm actually going to leave those at the defaults this time. I'm not going to increase them. So that is a power of 70, a speed of 175, 1 pass, and lines per centimeter is 100. So that's all good to go. I'm going to hit process, click start, and let the laser do its magic. So as you can see, the laser did a wonderful job of cutting out the design. I did use air assist, and that gives it a really clean cut. I then flipped the design over and did a personalized message on the back. So this concludes today's tutorial. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. I'll also list the equipment and the materials that I used today in the description box below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope that you choose to do so, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of future videos. Until next time, happy crafting!